welcome to another episode of Weekly Dose of K-Culture. I'm your host Alexi, and last week I talked about how I was craving for Korean food and all of the unique Korean cafes that they have in Korea, like whether it's a pet cafe or game cafes or anything else. So I was thinking quite a lot about like food and all of the food that I missed from Korea, and it actually got me to this topic which I'm going to talk about, which is all about Korean food. So when I was growing up and when I was younger, all of the food that I used to miss from Korea were Koreanized Western food. For example, they have Lotteria, which is like McDonald's for Koreans, or Baskin Robbins. So Baskin Robbins, even though it's not Korean, still I used to eat it a lot in Korea, so I used to miss it. And every time I go to Sydney, that's first thing I do have and reminiscent about my childhood. But back in 2009, I actually went to Korea as an exchange student to a uni, and I met a lot of Western friends and non-Korean friends who wanted to eat more of a traditional Korean cuisine. And because of that, I tagged along with them and ended up eating a lot of Korean cuisines, and I started to miss them. I started to really get fond of them, and I miss them quite a lot. So I wanted to talk about some of the food that I do miss myself personally, and all of the food that were very popular with amongst my friends, because I thought if you know about the Korean food and next time you go to Korea, you will know what kind of food to order and what kind of food you're going to enjoy. So hopefully this becomes handy for you for your next travel to Korea. And it might be a very personalized opinion or personalized opinions from my friends, but I'm sure that you will love them because they are very, very popular amongst the world and they're very tasty. So first up, we have bibimbap, and bibimbap is very, very popular worldwide these days. So a lot of Hollywood stars do actually eat them because it's very healthy and it actually has a combination of vegetables, rice, and meats. So tradition of bibimbap is we used to have Korea has a lot of side dishes. So have one rice, one soup, and a lot of side dishes, and often that means having different plates and different little bowls for side dishes. But mostly for poor families or like normal families, they didn't have a lot of bowls and plates in the olden days, so they ended up just having everything mixed up together to eat. So they have one bowl of rice and top of it different side dishes. Secondly, in Korea we have a lot of memorial services for our ancestors during the national holidays or any of the all on the day they passed away. So we have one big table filled with different food, and after the ceremony we do eat the food because we actually consider that as a gift from our ancestor, and we need to finish eating them. So we just started mixing all of the ingredients together with rice with a bit of a sauce. So there are two of the origins or known to be the origins of bibimbap, and the most important thing about bibimbap is the nutrients that they have and the color. So perfect quality of the vegetables mixed with rice and meat, and also with a bit of a fried egg, or perfect nutrient is most important. So if you do go to bibimbap place, do look for the quality of the ingredients as well as color, and having more of the ingredients will be the best for you. Secondly, the second popular item is kimbap, and it's one of my favorite because every time we go to picnics, whether it's the family picnics or school outings, our moms will roll kimbap for us. And kimbap is like a Korean version of Japanese sushi. So it's rolled up rice with ingredients inside. But in Korea, we do have different types of kimbap. So one of them being samgak kimbap. It's a triangular kimbap, and it has rice, ingredients inside and wrapped around rice, and that is finally wrapped with seaweed, and it actually is a triangular shape. And when I was in Korea, I used to eat that and instant noodle. So that will be my lunch or sometime dinner for a day. So it's the easiest and quickest and most affordable meal for a student. And secondly, they have goma kimbap, which is a little for kimbap for little kids. So it's exactly like a normal kimbap, but smaller in size. So it's perfect for children. So if you do have children, just roll them a smaller version of kimbap will be ideal, because they will still get to enjoy rice with different vegetables. But instead of just like trying to swallow bigger size of kimbap, they will be able to have their own size. And so thirdly, they have nude kimbap, which is like Californian roll for Japanese sushi. So they have all of the ingredients inside, and then it's wrapped around seaweed, and finally wrapped wrapped with rice. So they have rice in the outer layer instead of the seaweed. So it actually is white in color, and with a little bit of black sesame seed and cut into little pieces. It looks really pretty. So taste wise it's not too different, but visually wise I think it's personally pretty. It reminds me of winter. And lastly, they have Chungmu Kimbap, and Chungmu is a region in Korea, and this kimbap is normally made in that region, and it's basically rice wrapped in a seaweed. And instead of having all of the ingredients inside, they have ingredients separately. So you just bite into the rice and the kim, which is seaweed, and then try on the ingredients separately. So it's very unique, and you can have normally you have squid and all other types of vegetables all mixed together in a spicy sauce. So I personally don't prefer this, because I normally go for the normal kimbap, but older generation people, for example my parents, really like it. Thirdly, we have samgyetang, which is chicken noodle soup, and a lot of my Chinese friends used to like it, because I heard that Chinese people do have similar things in China, and it's normally a summer type of food, even though it's boiling chicken soup. In Korea, we have this saying, "이열치열," where they say, in order to fight the heat and the hot weather, you need to eat something that's really hot and warm. And in order to fight a cold weather, you need to eat something that's very, very cool and refreshing. So samgyetang is normally for summer, and we have a day dedicated to eat samgyetang, which is the hottest day of Korea. And what we normally do is we have a chicken, and inside we basically get rid of all of the intestines and everything, and put in the sticky rice and herbs. So when it's boiled together, it actually gives that flavor to the soup. So when I was growing up, I didn't quite like it. My mom used to cook it a lot because my dad liked it, but I'm not really a summer type of person, so idea of eating a hot food during the hot weather was not my thing. So it wasn't my favorite food, but nowadays I do like it for the soup and the sticky rice. So if you do go to a Korean restaurant next time, even though it's summer or even though it's winter, do try it, because you will love it. Fourthly, we have sundubujigae, and it's like a soup made with soft tofu, and it's one of my favorite things, and I love cooking it, I love eating it. And you can have a different variation, so flavor can be made from normally it's from seafood, but you can have ham and cheese or oyster or kimchi, or sometimes you can have a dumpling with it and have a mandu sundubujigae. So you can have it any kind of style you want, depending on what your favorite flavor is. And what they normally do is they have a boiling hot soup. So they crack open an egg and stir it inside the soup, and it actually cooks on its own, because even though it's not boiling on a stove, so when you get it, you crack open an egg and you stir it, and it will still cook, because that's how hot the soup is. And I love it for how hot it is, and it's very spicy as well. And on side of, as a side to your soup, you do get a rice that's cooked in a stone pot. And what you do is you scoop some of the rice out, not all of it, and then you put herbed water into it, and you have a hot rice tea, at the end of it, just to refreshen your palate at the end of your meal. So a lot of my foreign friends didn't like the tea because it actually doesn't have much of a flavor, but I do like tea myself, so it's good for me. So I would steal my friends' rice just to make more tea for myself. Nextly, we have japchae, which is a festival food. So I had it a couple of days ago because it was my birthday and my mom made it for me. So it's normally a meal for your birthday or any kind of festivals that you have. And it's a potato starch noodle mixed with beef and vegetables together with soy sauce. So it's very tasty, it's very chewy as well. And bouncy, and I really like the texture myself. Some of my Western friends didn't like the texture. They liked the vegetables and meat, but they didn't really go for noodle. But some of my Asian friends do like it, so that's why I actually chose it to be on my list. Next item is really popular, and you probably know what it is as well. It's bulgogi, and the way to explain it is if you ever had a Japanese food before and you had a beef teriyaki, it's kind of similar. It's very sweet and it's made out of sweet soy sauce, and it's very popular. And normally you will have bulgogi made from beef, but sometimes you can have pork bulgogi as well, and that is made with chili paste. So it's different because normally with pork you need to get rid of the smell and from the pork, and chili paste normally takes it away. So if you want to go for a spicy version, do go for pork bulgogi. Otherwise, beef bulgogi is very good, and you mix it with rice and that potato noodle that I told you before. You can mix it together and boil it together, and you can have bulgogi 덮밥 bulgogi 찌개. Next we have 해물파전, which is, we used to call it, olden days, we used to call it Korean pizza, but nowadays I know people call it Korean pancake because it's more suitable calling it pancake. So it's like a pancake. You mix seafood or seafood with different types of vegetables, and you mix in flours and mix water and make it into a little paste, and you cook it. And it's really popular during the rainy days because I don't know where the origin comes from. I tried to research it, but I couldn't find it. So if any of you actually know the answer to it, let me know. But whenever it's raining, Korean people would say, hey, let's go to a restaurant and eat 해물파전. And normally 해물파전 is eaten with Korean traditional alcoholic drinks called 막걸리 or 동동주. So every time it's raining, my mom will be like, oh, let's go out or let's make ourselves a 해물파전. Again, I'm not a big fan of this because I used to eat it so many times. My mom likes it, my brother likes it, so I ate it so many times when I was younger. But it is very, very good. It's very crunchy outside, and with all of the different flavors coming through, it's definitely a great pancake to try. So if you're a big fan of pancake, do go for it. It wouldn't have the softness of the normal pancake that you have, like breakfast pancake you have. It will have more flavors and more kick to it, so do try it. It's very easy to make, and you can actually purchase that powdered flours and every ingredients from Korean supermarket as well. Next item, you'll be familiar with this item as well, and it's tteokbokki, and that's like spicy rice cake. And you can have different variation and different spiciness of it as well. So in Korea nowadays, the most popular tteokbokki is the tteokbokki with a lot of soup. So normally it doesn't have a lot of sauce, but it actually has soup type sauce now, and you actually use your spoon to eat the rice cake together with the soup, and you can sometimes have different ingredients in it, like you can have egg in it, you can have ramen noodle with it, you can have cheese, you can have seafood, or any type of, you can even have ham and spam. Spam is a massive thing in Korea. In New Zealand, spam is, or even in US, I heard, the spam is a very, very like unpopular item. They have a very, very negative connotation to it. But in Korea, spam is a massive thing. It's a popular gift item for a holiday. So I actually remember going to my relative's place all the time when I was in Korea, and they'll make me a meal, and they actually cut spam into pieces, and they coat it with egg and cook it for me. And I actually felt very, very thankful because it's not an easy item to find. But it's popularly eaten in Korea, but the real spam is not easy to find. So you can have different items with tteokbokki, and then you can choose the spiciness of it as well. And nowadays in Korea, they have really, really spicy version. And I haven't really tried it myself, but I probably won't be able to because I'm not very good with spice. So the origin of tteokbokki is it was actually cooked for the royal families in Korea, and instead of using the red pepper chili paste, they used soy sauce instead. And soy sauce version of the tteokbokki was specifically for the royal family. Nobody else could eat it. And then in 1953, when the flour became more popular in Korea and through US having influence in Korea after the war and etc. They started making more of tteokbokki, and they actually made the first version of the red chili paste version instead, and that actually became popular. They had started to have different variation, so it's most common food nowadays in Korea, and that's a very popular food in Korea as a street food. So if you're walking around streets in Korea, you'll see a lot of side street store or little pop-up store where they're selling tteokbokki with sundae and odeng, which is three popular side food dishes. So sundae is like a Korean version of sausage, and odeng is like it's like soup base made from this little bowl of fish paste we put together. It's really tasty, chewy and bouncy as well. But three popular items, and I love going to Korea during the winter time, just having them because they're very, very tasty. Last item that's very, very popular nowadays, you probably would have heard a lot about it because a lot of Korean idols talk about it, and a lot of reality shows talk about it, and also a lot of non-Korean idols do talk about it a lot as their favorite food. For example, recently I heard NCT 127 Win, which is who is a Chinese member, actually picked this food as his favorite Korean dish, and it's 양념치킨. So 양념치킨 is a fried chicken mixed with different sauce. So the normal sauce you can have is a spicy chili paste, but it's sweet and sour and spicy at the same time. So it's mixed. So fried chicken will be mixed with the sauce, and then it will be delivered to you, or you can actually go to the shop to eat them. And they're very, very popular because it has the sweetness and sourness as well as spiciness, and also at the same time it try to keep that crispiness of the outer skin as well. And then also you can also have soy sauce version as well. It's normally very sweet with a bit of a soy sauce taste added to it as well. So a lot of them is very sweet, but it's very, very nice. And you can have garlic flavor as well. So you have a garlic paste, just normal fried chicken with a garlic paste, or you can have a garlic powder on top of it. Sometimes they try to be very, very adventurous when it comes to flavors, and the most popular adventurous flavor that they had for the fried chicken is traffic light chicken. So it was 3 flavors with different colors. They had pink, green, and yellow. So the pinkish color was a strawberry flavor, and if you could really pick a flavor for it, it will be having one bite of the chicken and drinking a strawberry milk. That's what it tastes like. So very, very sweet, and a lot of people either hated it or loved it. So there were like so many different arguments and different opinions. The second one is green color, and it's melon flavor. So it's kind of like you having one bite of the fried chicken and having that Korean ice cream Melona, just biting into it. So you can imagine what it will taste like. And lastly, yellow color was the banana flavor. And banana flavor will be just there is a Korean snack called banana cake. So having one bite into the Korean fried chicken and eating the banana cake. So a lot of the banana cake snack has a lot of little bits of the snack at the bottom of the pack. So if you just tip it out and put it on top of the fried chicken, that's what it will taste like. So a lot of people hated it, and they will do a lot of mukbang, which is a food eating program, online program in Korea, and that's really popular in Korea as well. A lot of them will just taste them and give their opinions. But the most popular ones I would have to say is banban. So it's a half of fried chicken and half of the flavor chicken. So whether it's a chili paste one or with soy sauce one or it's garlic one, they will have like half of the fried chicken and half of the flavor one. The reason for it is so that they can actually try half of each thing. So fried chicken, like I said, will have the crispiness of it, and then the flavor one will have the unique flavor. So people wanted to try both of them. And lastly, with the fried chicken, they had padak, which is spring onion with the soy sauce flavor chicken on top of it. So you mix it together, eat it, so you actually get a spiciness or really like spiciness of the spring onion together with the soy sauce flavored chicken. So in Korea, they have a lot of the banban system, which is half of something and half of another. So in Korea, we have a popular meal, which is jjajangmyeon and jjampong. So jjajangmyeon is a black paste noodle, and jjampong is a seafood noodle soup. And it's a popular item for when you have a special day or when you want a really quick meal.